Glued and screwed, baby, glued and screwed. So right now we're going to be building the walls of this section here. Okay, so that way we can get the ceiling in and support, and then we can begin to work on this side because we don't need two weak ass ends. Let's just put it that way. So the whole thing would collapse, especially because the roof really will need to be done, but we're gonna do that in the spring. So we're just gonna tarp the roof for now, but it's all right. So today his goal is to get all of these framed and to kick butt. We got about 8 hours of daylight. We got a late start, that's because we have a large family that we're living with, and that's just the way things roll. So we're gonna get a solid 8 hours in today, hopefully about 10 to 12 in tomorrow. It's pretty exciting. Like, the new wood is super awesome. It's very, very sturdy. It's great to stand on. Last time I was standing here, I literally cracked it. So it's kind of dope to be able to stand there and not hear it. He'll need to almost fall to my death. So,
even without walls.
So, okay. So I showed you my husband's chaos. Now I'm showing you my chaos. I've already shown you this. This is basically what I'm still doing. Getting all of this. Gotta get the lamps out of there. Get this panel out. I've got to get all of the insulation. So I've got my long sleeves on. I'll have my gloves on in a minute. My respirator, as well as my I even put something over my head just because all that in my hair. I mean, that sucks. So anyways, I get all suited up basically, as I'm telling you, and I'm gonna get all of the rest of this insulation out. I am gonna be taking this panel up. We have actually gotten some bottle jacks underneath this and stabilized it and leveled it, and so I can get to this panel now. We're gonna pop that out, and then I'll get all of those staples out. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take care of the slide and get this ceiling out today. I mean, it's not that much underneath it, so I'm gonna get this slide done today. Like, that's what I want to do. Originally there was a wall sconce there and one there, and I love that. No, I don't. So I have a different idea of how I want to do light. So I think we're gonna get rid of most of this wiring too, because it's 25 years old.
Sam just got finished final gutting this whole thing. So now we can see the damage. I know there's some damage up here on this big board here leading up into the door. So I'll probably have to pull the door and fix whatever's going on under there. We'll get to that and that and maybe that later after we get back to this. So looking at it right now, it doesn't look much better. But I assure you we've been making strides here. What I've done is I've got the subfloor screwed down, glued down. The floor is built before the walls on these. So I had to finish building most of the floor. I need to get this corner done, this whole wall where the slide out is, the header board here. I've got a section out there. I've got new lumber right here now. I haven't joined it or anything. I think I mentioned in another video about the gap that I had to make up the difference because of the way that they're made, sandwiching the ceiling material in between the side panel there. I'm not going to be doing that when I replace the roof panels here, and I don't want, this is going to be a better, stronger setup than that anyways. Anyway, I haven't joined these. I'm going to glue these, screw them tight, but I'm going to attach them to the header board downwards first, and then I'm planning on installing the whole thing. This will be one solid piece. It's like 5 inches or whatever. I plan on installing that all in one section. I'm going to lap it. The width will be double, so it'll be a 7. I'll go at least 7 inches wide here. This is just a 2x4 and a 1.5. So it's about 5 as it sits. We're gonna go a little wider. I'm still gonna leave the notch out for this the same, And that way this will be literally doubled here. And then that I'm gonna notch out a 2x8. And half of it will sit here and the other half will go there. And then I can go in like this and go in. I can brace it and go down and all that. So I'll probably go into like pocket hole screw type thing from here into this one. And then I'll get a couple here. Put the new header board in. Bring it across. And we'll go here. This has been kind of an interesting thing. With the gap, though, is the way I set it. I made this thicker than the stock one to fill in the gap of the ceiling panels. I had to get this to go in there and fit pretty good. These are snug. It looks kind of shoddy and not as tight as you want it. Once it gets glued and screwed, it'll look better. We'll reinforce it. But really, I mean, this thing is huge now. Very, very big. A lot more strength here in this corner. But I mean, you look at that. It's not even glued, stapled, or anything. And then we'll look at the factory one. See, it doesn't sit in any better. So hopefully I can make my joints a little tighter than that, but we'll actually make them strong. So on to my next battle. How do I build the wall? I got my little base piece here. Right. But I got to go up from here, and I've taken the measurements, but right here is going to be a 2x8. It's going to be the left side of the slide. So that's got to be a perfect 90 going up from here. But so I'm going to take this and build this wall on the ground. I saw another guy, I think it was called Vintage Shasta, something like that maybe. He was doing like a whole entire wall on his. And anyway, it's a pretty hefty task. But he had a great idea to get the sheet metal, lay it out on the ground, sketch it out, and build the frame to it, because the metal's not going to stretch. And if you want to reuse it, it needs to be right. So I liked his idea. I'm going to steal it. And I'll show you what I got going on here. So I just got a piece of plywood here on the ground. This is that piece. We're looking at the inside of it here. Now remember, I had gone through with red and marked where the beams were. So we need to replicate it like that, but we're also going to reinforce it at the same time. So I'm going to build this to match. I'm probably going to take this top piece, now that I'm thinking of it, and mark exactly where my new piece is on this, so I don't build into it. So I'm going to do that, and then I've got my measurements here, drawn it out, measured everything, got the angle of this rear here at 70 degrees. So I'm going to start cutting my long vertical, my horizontal deals for my actual header board, and the framing for the slide out in the rear. And like I said before, this is like a 2x4, 2 1x1.5, 2x2 as you call them. And these are the same thing, just one on this side. So it's going to be double of everything, and it should be a lot stronger. I'll lap these horizontal ones in there, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'm going to go mark this while I'm thinking about it, and then I'm going to get busy.